What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and this is Conference Chatter, where I talk about things that happen in the E3 press conferences. And this year, gonna do things a little bit differently to kind of, move things along in a more efficient manner. I'm not gonna talk about everything. I'm not gonna go bite by bite, bit by bit in terms of what happened at these conferences. I'm just gonna talk about things that I thought were interesting and why I thought they were interesting. So starting off today is the Microsoft press conference, wrapped up like about an hour ago, and I did like a Periscope stream, and that my phone battery just did not like that at all. So might not do that much in the future. Anyway, this press conference ended up being pretty amazing, pretty damn good, all things considered. Microsoft kind of, I guess, in more of a desperation mode, I don't know, but they're kind of just hitting it. And so I'm going to talk about a little bit about what happened during that press conference and what was interesting or fascinating to me in terms of the moves they are making. Obviously, they open with Halo because they're Microsoft, and that's Halo. What's interesting, though, about them opening with Halo, in terms of previous years, they did not open with Call of Duty. As a matter of fact, there was no Call of Duty on this stage for them at all. So, the speculation there is that they no longer have that exclusive DLC deal they've had in the past, for the past, like, 4 or 5 years, and that perhaps Sony now has the exclusive first DLC for Call of Duty, just looking at the sales numbers between Xbox One and PS4. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Sony tonight at their press conference if they have Call of Duty opening up on stage first for Black Ops 3. So one of the most surprising things at this show was a brand new IP from Kenji Inafune, who you may know as the father of Mega Man and the upcoming Mighty Number 9, working with Armature, who are the former guys who were at Retro from Metroid Prime and are currently going to be doing the Wii U port for Bloodstained, the Igarashi Castlevania type game that just got kickstarted. So Inafune and Armature are working on an Xbox One exclusive. They're calling it a new franchise, and it is called ReCore. From the CGI trailer, there's this lady in a desert with a robot dog that they take the core and put it into a big robot, and I don't know how it's going to play. They didn't show any gameplay, but conceptually for a new IP, it looks really cool, and I am super excited about that. So hands down, the biggest announcement at E3 thus far, obviously it's day one. Last time was Bethesda. Today is Microsoft. EA is in about a half hour here, Ubisoft, and Sony tonight. Tomorrow's Nintendo and Square Enix. But I can almost guarantee you, the most shocking holy shit announcement of E3 is going to be Xbox One gaining backward compatibility with Xbox 360. I almost could not believe the words coming out of their mouths when they said that, and they go, oh, by the way, if you put in your retail disc, it's going to go download the game from the servers, and you will have the game backward compatible on your Xbox One. That means that they are having some kind of a way to, I'm not sure if it's emulation. They said natively. I'm not sure what that actually means, considering 360 was PowerPC and Xbox One is Intel. It's x86. So I'm not sure how it's actually going to work. They haven't really, obviously gone into that. But 100 games to start off with this fall. So is it going to be a more compelling offering than you had when you went from Xbox original to Xbox 360? Only about a third of that library actually worked. How does that handle Xbox Live Arcade games? Like, how, obviously, they're having to re-sign the executable, etc., etc. Like, I want to know kind of the ins and outs, how it's going to work. Obviously, they're going to get more details as the days and weeks and months move on. If you are in the Xbox preview program, that is going to be rolling out soon. I am not in the preview program. If somebody could get me into that, that'd be great. But for everybody else in the general populace, this fall, 100 games to start out with, and then obviously more to roll out with then. So that is a huge, huge deal. Just when you thought backward compatibility was a thing of the past, when Xbox One and PS4 kind of just had a clean break there, just when you thought they were not going to do it anymore, out of nowhere, like an RKO, backward compatibility, I'm like, how are they even doing that? So Xbox, seems like we're going to hit all these notes. Please buy an Xbox One. I know they sold so many 360s. Please buy an Xbox One. So that is kind of their standpoint here. So how that was in the opening of the show, like third or fourth thing, and not at the end of the show as your showstopper, I don't know how that happened, but amazing nonetheless. The other new thing announced here was the much rumored Xbox One Elite controller. They are adding in, let me grab that. They are adding in we thought, okay, it's just going to be a headphone jack, right? They're going to add in right next to here a headphone jack. But no, it's more than a headphone jack. It is a customizable controller. It's going to have those little weird things you can put on here for faster button presses. It's going to have a, like, you can pop things off and change your sticks and your D-pad. It's got a bunch of new features, and I definitely need one because that looks awesome. Having a better D-pad, having more options on my controller is always a good thing. There was a little bit new Fallout 4 stuff, a little bit new footage for Fallout 4, and that looked pretty good, but that's still kind of more of what we saw at last night's Bethesda deal. The curious thing was that they're going to actually have PC mods being able to export to the Xbox One version of Fallout 4, and I don't know, is that going to be a curated experience? Because what I've learned in the years of PC mods is you can just straight up build stuff that's going to break your stuff and crash your stuff. And obviously, you're going to have a lot more RAM on PC than you're going to have RAM on Xbox One. So how they're going to handle that? Is it going to be a curated experience, or is it just going to be the fucking Wild West? Who knows? Peter Moore came out from EA and pushed kind of EA Access harder, because obviously EA Access is only available on Xbox One, and it's not on PS4. So they're pushing EA Access really hard. It's getting Titanfall this week, or perhaps today. But more importantly, if you are an Xbox Live Gold member, you can get to EA Access for free this week up until like the 22nd or something like that. So if you're interested, it's out there. Personally, I really don't care. So one of the most pointless things I have seen at a press conference in a long time, and certainly I have seen a lot of press conferences, one of the most pointless, insane things was that for Forza 6, they lowered a car from the ceiling, talked about it for like 2 minutes, and then raised it back into the ceiling and played a trailer. You really didn't need to lower a car from the ceiling, and how? How did you lower a car from the ceiling and not have somebody sitting in the driver's seat and open the door and be like, Microsoft, Xbox, Forza, like how did that not happen? Can you imagine if one of those cables had snapped and that car fell? Can you imagine how chaotic that would have been? But speaking of things that would have made me go insane, they officially confirmed, after the leaks, it is officially confirmed Dark Souls 3 is a thing. Dark Souls 3 is happening, and Miyazaki is directing. I don't know how. He directed Bloodborne, so how the hell is he already doing Dark Souls 3 that is happening in the spring, early spring of 2016? How? When does the man sleep? And also, it is going to be the last. It's going to be the Dark Souls 3 is going to be the last Dark Souls named game. So that's the end of the trilogy. It's going to be interesting. So one of the things that they're going to be doing, it looks like, is that games that have tie-ins, like Rainbow Six Siege coming this fall, when you buy Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox One, you get Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 for 360 that are not going to be backward compatible on Xbox One. So I can see developers that have a large back catalog saying, hey, buy our new game, get our old game, and they both play on the same system. That is clever. That is a good way to go about that. That's pretty cool. There was a new Xbox and Windows exclusive called Gigantic. It looked like a MOBA, enough said. There was a cavalcade of indie games, and it seems like Microsoft taking cues from Sony from a couple years back, having here's an indie, and here's an indie, and having them all on stage talking about their game, showing a little trailer, etc., etc. That was pretty cool. Like, more indie support on big consoles, always a great thing to see. And Cuphead. I want Cuphead. When is Cuphead coming out? That game looks bonkers. Alright, so an announcement that I am not 100% psyched about is they are bringing early access to Xbox One. Games like Elite Dangerous will be available for early access today. Now, that being said, they are introducing a demo period. They didn't say how long, a demo period for the game, so obviously you don't have to buy it, and then say you bought it and it's early access, and you're like, this is too early, it's too broken, fuck this shit. So they are giving you some kind of a trial period for all these early access games to decide whether or not it is in a state that you actually want to play it and buy it and pay for it. But personally, I wish early access would stay on the PC, because I can see a lot of perhaps bigger indies and then leaking into larger developers abusing it, wanting us to pay to test their buggy game. That's not cool. We have enough buggy AAA games launching as it is. I don't want any more buggy games that I have to pay for and test them myself. Fuck that noise. And there was a trailer for the new game from Dean Hall, who's the guy who made DayZ, and it's in space. That's all I can tell you. that I could not tell you what the hell that was, or what it's about, or when it's coming out, or no gameplay. I don't know. But it's called Ion. And there was some Tomb Raider gameplay. That still looks gorgeous. And the rumors are true. The Rare Collection on Xbox One is happening. 30 games for $30, spanning from the NES up to Xbox 360. That's kind of crazy. Looking forward to that. That is a great deal, a great value. And Rare has certainly in the past put out some phenomenal games. Definitely looking forward to that. But in addition, Rare announced new stuff. Rare announced a brand new game. It is a pirate-themed MMO. It looks pretty cool, and I will definitely look forward to playing some of that in the future. And that game was called Sea of Thieves. Alright, so I don't know what's going on with VR. The VR battle of 2016 seems like it's going to be completely, absolutely insane, because now Microsoft, in addition to having their thing with Oculus, is also going to partner with Valve and their Vive headset. Like, what is going on with VR? I need some time to kind of parse out what's going on. But Microsoft, both Oculus and, so I guess Sony's all alone with their Morpheus, and then Starbreeze has their own VR headset. Like, what? VR is, it might be dead before it even gets off the ground because there's way too much competition and way too much shit going on. Speaking of which, they showed HoloLens, and they showed HoloLens Minecraft, and that shit looks bananas. I don't know what the practical application for that is, but I'm hoping that it actually pans out like the way they're showing it. But I will remind you, remember how they initially showed the Kinect and how that did not pan out to how they presented it. Don't forget Milo. Milo, never forget. There was new Gears of War. It's Gears of War. There's Gears of War remastered. It's Gears of War. And that is basically how they closed the show. I thought it was a very solid press conference, and I'm pretty excited about a lot of the stuff that they're putting out. So that's going to do it from here. Attack. I already talked for too long, but that's okay. I will see you next time for the next conference chatter. I think I'm going to combine EA and Ubisoft. I don't think they're going to get their own video. And then tonight, Sony. If my voice holds up, we'll see. More videos, more E3 coverage, more Nintendo stuff, more everything coming right here on this channel. I'm Attack Slug. I'm your host, and I'm out, and I'm out, and I'm out, and I'm out.